Welcome back to another episode of The Road Chose Me. My name's Dan, and on today's episode, we are finally exploring the Kimberley region of Western Australia. So let me show you where we are. We've driven across from the Northern Territory. We're now in Western Australia. We're in this region up in here, which is called the Kimberley. This is a really famous region. It has tons of beautiful red rock canyons. There's waterfalls, there's springs, there's all kinds of amazing stuff. And on today's episode, we're going on a little adventure to a hidden spring with secret waterfalls, with secret swimming holes. There should be some great four-wheel driving on the way. And then let's find out how good are the springs when we get there. Let's go for it. Secret Springs adventure in the Kimberley. Before we can even get to our Secret Springs adventure, we have to cross the mighty Ivanhoe Crossing. This is one of Australia's most famous river crossings, and not just because of the water flowing over that concrete embankment, also because the river is full of crocodiles.
So, big reveal, I'm actually driving, and this is the stunning Ivanhoe Crossing. We've got a beautiful morning, and this crossing is actually way less intimidating than I thought it was going to be. It's paved the whole way, and there are these nice concrete bollards on either side. The water is really clear. It is about a foot deep, and it's not pushing as hard as I thought it would. There's a tremendous amount of water coming over. I'm actually only in two-wheel drive. I've got a great bow wave going, but it's actually a bit confusing just because it's so long. There are tons of birds. Apparently there's a few crocs around, and there's a huge audience of people fishing. But it's a really, really fun crossing to drive, and I feel pretty special. I've got to drive it a few times now.
All right, that's enough fun at Ivanhoe. Let's head in and find this secret spring. So we're cruising along the track here, and it is absolutely beautiful. And one of the things that I have to show you guys, check this out. In the Kimberley in Australia, we have Boab trees. So right now I'm scratching myself. Is this Africa or is this Australia? Check out this thing. These are the trees that so captivated me in Africa. These huge bulbous base, and then really kind of like spindly branches, and they're all so different. Some of them are tall and skinny, some of them are really short, fat and stubby. I'll move over here so the angle of the sun gets better. These are incredible though. And the ones here in Australia, these are actually called Boabs, versus in Africa, they're called Boab. And interestingly enough, they're not related. These trees evolved entirely separately on the two different continents. And they cover a lot of Africa and Madagascar. These Boabs, they're only native and endemic to this little region of Australia called the Kimberley. And these are really crazy too. They're not even actually trees. These things are succulents. So these things are like a cactus. They're really sort of juicy and really soft, pulpy flesh. And in Africa, they call these things the tree of life because they bring so much life, so much shade at the right time of year. But also the fruit that they have is really sweet, delicious. I had it a whole bunch of time like frozen or as a drink. I've been kind of sad. I haven't seen it here yet in Australia. I wonder if anyone does it. But these things are incredible. I love them. And I really hope we get to camp under or right near one. Maybe I'll do some star photography. But Boab trees, I feel like they have so much character and so much personality. It's putting a huge smile on my face just to be hanging around them again.
Okay, so we've just lined up at a bit of a rock step here, and it looks like it's pretty abrupt, and there's no way of me kind of taking a good line, so we'll get going here. I'm in 4 low, and I've also put it in manual mode, and I'm in the lowest gear. I've also engaged the lockers and disconnected the sway bar, and I could probably do it without doing that. It's just gonna be a little bit easier, and it's a pretty big rock step. So I'm gonna try and keep my speed as even as possible. There we go, that's the front, and here we go, that's the back. Hopefully we didn't leave too much of the Jeep behind. So we're lined up at the start of another creek crossing, and this one is definitely looking a lot more like a river. The water is pretty murky, and this is definitely croc country, so we're not gonna walk it. And I'm just in low range here. I've got a pretty good bow wave going. It's about probably 700 or 800 meters deep, and I can actually hear rocks against the bottom of the car, which is great, because we're getting pretty good traction. You never want to get stuck in a place like this, and I'm just going to try and keep our speed as even as possible. There's some lumps and bumps in here, but so far we're doing pretty well. There we are. I can actually see the other side now. Woo! You never know what you're getting into when you're back in a place like this. It's a pretty thick bush outside too, so we never know what's hanging out in there. Success!
So here we are. We've arrived at what is the first swimming pool. Looks pretty nice to me. Waterfall in the background. I love it. And if you notice, there's a rope going up that waterfall. We are going to go up there and see what we find as we go higher and higher up this thing. Come with us. We're going to go for a swim, cool off, and then we're going to go up. So here we go, we've walked further up the canyon and we come across swimming holes like this one. Katie made us some popcorn, so we're having a little popcorn snack. Check it out though. I know I've said it 10 times already. This place is incredible. It just goes on and on. Every single spot has a different little swimming hole, a little different sneaky spot. And you can sit here and have the infinity pool vista out over the world down the canyon. I feel like we better go further up the canyon and see what's next. In the meantime though, what a place to be. Our own little private swimming pools, little waterfalls. Incredible. So now I've walked past a bunch of the pools and I'm heading to what I'm told is the very utmost pool. I really don't know what to expect up here. Have a look, this is so rad. What a canyon to explore. It's just wild and beautiful in here. It just goes on and on. So there we have it, guys. That is the end of our Secret Springs adventure here in the Kimberley. And some locals swore us to secrecy. I'm not allowed to tell you guys where this place is. So what that means is you just need to get out on your own adventures and find your own Secret Springs type places to go and have adventures. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. That was a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. The four-wheel driving on the way in here was great. The swimming, obviously unreal. We've stayed here pretty much all day. The sun's going down in the background. That's our view right now. Absolutely breathtaking. So if you have enjoyed this episode, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. Now we're heading off to drive the Gibb River Road, one of Australia's most famous outback roads. And if you'd like to get behind the scenes content, GPS track logs, early access to these videos, and a whole bunch more, all of that is available to my supporters over on Patreon. And they make it possible for me to make these videos for you. So if you'd like to support me, go and check it out over on Patreon. But until next time, have fun out there, and maybe we'll bump into you on the road.
Bye. Hi, Mom.